President Bola Ahmed Tinubu retains seat as chairman, ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. But what does this mean for the sub-region's offensive against outlaws? At home, election stakeholders get set for off-cycle governorship polls in Edo and Ondo states as the stakes get higher and entrenched interests surface. Also on political update today, rivers of intrigue flows ceaselessly in Port Harcourt. State House Assembly records parallel sittings. So that's the State House Assembly in that state recording parallel sittings. We have this and more on our lineup. I'm Fisayo Ogunfui. President Bola Tinubu has been re-elected chairman of ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government for the second consecutive tenure. It was at the 65th session of the committee held in Abuja. At the session, Nigeria made a new commitment to incentivize the fight against terrorism in the ECOWAS sub-region with its counter-terrorism center located in Abuja.
ECOWAS is just a few months away from its golden jubilee. The bloc has recorded many high moments in its integration and cooperation pursuits, but equally dotted by some lows in the past 49 years. And the present situation is even more challenging as it is existential. This session was appraising the enormity of the challenges facing the sub-region, including terrorist activities and violent extremism vis-à-vis the effort at combating them.
Our region is still confronted with multiple interlocking threats, including existential ones. These include climatic and man-made crises, leading to terrorism and violent extremism and food insecurity. Governance deficit and marginalization have strained social contracts, engendering bitter rivalries and unhealthy competition.
Certainly, the community recognizes the importance of peaceful and secure environments in its integration and economic drives. And again, Nigeria is taking a lead to give new momentum to the fight against forms of insecurity in the sub-region.
I urge ECOWAS to leverage on the capability of the Nigerian National Counter-Terrorism Center, NCTC, which is widely acknowledged as one of the best on the continent. The Nigerian government has decided to declare the NCTC as a regional center to enable all ECOWAS member states benefit from capacity building and the other related opportunities it offers.
Back home, in terms of politics, the National Working Committee of the Governing All Progressives Congress, APC, says the party is gathering momentum ahead of the Edo State governorship election billed for the 21st of September 2024. This came to the fore shortly after a closed-door session, which lasted for hours at the Buhari House. The party expressed commitment of the Tinubu's presidency towards addressing the challenges of nationhood with the renewed hope agenda as a model.
On 20th of this month, the National Campaign Council will be inaugurated in Edo State, and it is expected that most of the members of the Progressive Governors Forum will be in attendance. Which other party can provide or boast of such assets, politically speaking? So we don't need to overflog the horse. The truth of the matter is that the APC has done very well in Nigeria. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has started the treatment. And by the grace of God, I'm very confident that very soon Nigerians will be jubilant about how he has managed to navigate the waters.
We have confidence in them anyway. We do all what it takes to ensure that we maintain good relationship with our governors all over the country. And we have to protect their interest. And there is no doubt that they are also assisting the party. They are making the party to be proud as an institution.
Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party says that its candidate in the September 21st, 2024 Edo State governorship election, Asue Gudalo, remains validly in the race as the party resolved to appeal the ruling by the Federal High Court, nullifying the primary election. Chairman of the party's National Campaign Council for the election and Governor of Adamawa State, Amadu Fintiri, stated this at the opening of the council's meeting in Abuja.
The governor of Adamawa State, Amadu Fintiri, is leading the National Campaign Council for the September 21 governorship election in Edo State. Asue Ighodalo, the party's governorship candidate, remains authentic and sellable, Fintiri emphasized.
Yes, there's a little setback temporarily. God will see us through it. 3 days ago's court judgment. Anybody who peruse and look through the entire process, this is what will not stand in the court of law, particularly that will be approaching the court of appeal. And that shouldn't deter us. We will put more commitment.
And we know very much that the Apex Court has pronounced that the issue of delegates is purely an internal affairs of the political party.
Former governor of Edo State, Lucky Benedion, and the governorship candidate Asue Ighodalo are optimistic that PDP will emerge victorious in the forthcoming election.
PDP is in my DNA, and I will assure and ensure and do all that is necessary that victory is ours come September.
We've already seen the signs that this is going to be a difficult election, not on the issues, but on distractions.
The National Campaign Council, which later dissolved into various sub-committees, has PDP Deputy National Organizing Secretary Pascal Adigwe as Council Secretary.
Now, the election umpire is currently crossing its T's and the stakeholders dotting their I's as the key dates for governorship elections in Edo and Ondo draw ever closer. The electorate, while indicating their preferences in terms of the next helmsman, also want the candidates to bring new ideas on board. APC governorship aspirant during this year's primary in Ondo State, Professor Dayo Faduile, joins us now. Prof, you're there. Okay. So you've seen some of the reports that Edo is getting ready and is bubbling nicely. You, of course, you ran in the primaries earlier for Ondo State, so about a month and a half after Edo State will be coming to your state as well. But first, let me ask you, we've seen the chest thumping and assurances from the party stalwarts in Abuja concerning the party, at the state level, Edo and Ondo, as it were. First, have all the contentious issues during the primary been resolved in Ondo State, and is everyone now on the same page?
Thank you for inviting me here, Mr. Mufui. It's important for us to know that when we are having contests amongst brothers, there are going to be elements of disaffection, however clean that contest will have been. But the important thing is for us to know that we are one family, and I can assure you that in Ondo State today, every contestant who aspire to be the gubernatorial candidate of the APC is with Mr. Lucky Ayedatiwa, who is the current governor of the state and our flag bearer. So,
not everyone per se. We can't say everyone. Well, we have a contestant who is now the contestant, the candidate for the NNPP, as it were.
Well, thank you very much for reminding me that. But importantly, why I said every is that when you have close to 100%, let's say 95, you can confidently say that almost every one of us is with Mr. Governor. And we are working as a family because Ondo State APC has been doing very well. And a lot of people are happy with how the state has been ruling, how the party has been ruling the state.
I'm not particularly sure about the arrangement in your party. Have the aspirants, for instance, ones who have agreed, have you met with the candidate now? And what do you think a progressive candidate should have in his in-tray if you were to capture the imagination of the people in Ondo State?
Well, the first thing I think I need to emphasize here is when you say some candidates are aggrieved, there is no no agreed candidate who ran that election presently. Every one of us, except one, has come and work for the benefit and the interest of the party. And it is because inherently, if you are progressive whatever level that you find yourself. And in this respect, I can tell you that the progressivism that we are talking about is still going well in Ondo State. If you remember, if you are following the trajectory of things in Ondo State, some few days ago, about R1 billion was released to be paid to our pensioners who had not had that opportunity for years. And this is about the second tranche after the first tranche was paid by our late governor. And there are so many interventions that the current governor is doing presently that is making a lot of people in Ondo State warm up to him and wanting to yarn and get more. So I can tell you for a fact that Ondo State indigents are more and are fully at home with APC. They don't want any disruption. They don't want any interjection that they had at that time that created some crisis for us. They want us to continue in that right way of getting things done for them. And they are eagerly waiting for November 20th.
We will get to know how very accurate this prediction is on election morning. But let me move forward a little bit to ask a few questions. There are a lot of people who have been watching closely the political space in Ondo State for the past, let's say 8 years, would say, I've said that, Arakuni Rotimi Akeredolu, Mr. Rest in Peace, left big shoes to fill. What are the things that, the current, the APC is bringing on board, one, to perhaps strengthen its legacies and continuing with that perhaps has strengthened your interaction with the people in Ondo State?
Well, the first thing we need to say, to know is that this current governor is a continuation of Akeredolu's governorship term. And he has learned a lot of lessons, a lot of positive, progressive ideas from Mr. Governor, the late governor, and he's riding on that, and he's doing very great things. If you have seen a lot of projects that have been in place before governor died, he had continued them. So what we used to have, that you have abandoned projects, is not part of what we are going to experience. And you must know that when Akeredolu came into power, he took over power from Governor Mimiko, who was in another party, but he did not follow the trajectory of what you see every politician does, where they just abandon what was done before then and they take another way. But in his own time, he continued, and that's what we are doing. And we have a lot of areas that the governor is showing his interest to the people. The Akure Sports Stadium in the last 4 or 5 days has now started having a major facelift, so that the youth can be gainfully involved in the governance, and we can have improvement in sport. And if you see what has happened in the last few weeks that he has come in, our football team has moved from the relegation level, and they are comfortable within the table. That is in sport. In education, I have told you that those who are to do exams, he has followed the legacy of his immediate predecessor, where he has paid for the WAEC fee for those students who are in their final year. If we are talking about higher education or higher institutions, he has stabilized all the 3 universities that we have. Even our College of Polytechnic at Owo, every life has been brought into it. So that is about that. And in health, which is very important, where my area is, things that have been agitating doctors and other health workers have been resolved in the last few days. So I can tell you that this governor is following the pathway, and everybody in Ondo State is happy.
Well,
the
PDP
current
to us,
state of
PDP candidates and the NMP as well as other parties are also saying that they are trying to galvanize the people, but that is not for me to, answer. I'm just trying to get, feelers from your state in terms of where we know Ondo State people very well that sometimes they could upset you when it comes to some calculations. You need to do exactly what they want as a people, for you to get their votes. You, as in some of our interactions while you were still in the race, we're talking about the low-hanging fruits in terms of economic potentials of the state. What do you think are the quick wins and some of the discussions that the people will want to have before election morning?
Well, as it is, we have two ways of looking at it. The first one is what can we do between now and November, December? And I can tell you the time is too short for us to have maturity. But what the governor has been doing in the last few weeks that he has been in power has been to consolidate on all those great things that have started.
Prof, just a moment.
Like I've told
Prof, just a moment. My question is, in terms of conversations with the people of the state, I'm not, talking about what the government is doing at the moment. In terms of the discussions the people are having, what do they really want? What are the discussions on the table that will make them vote for their preferred candidate in November in terms of what they want economically, in terms of other sectors of the economy that they want to have quickly, in the state, that the conversations on the table right now in Ondo State?
Well, the conversation on the table right now in Ondo State is to ensure, you must know that Ondo State is more or less a civil servant state, and we have a lot of civil servants who are not having their pension, those who are retired. And what the governor has done is to start easing that out. Secondly, I can tell you that in terms of health, we need a lot of intervention in health. I can tell you one thing that we have not been able to achieve over the years was to have doctors and other health workers coming to Ondo State. But with the release of the new circular that Mr. Governor has brought in, we have had opportunity now of having a large number of doctors and health workers coming into Ondo State so that we can have a quick fix of our health system. But importantly, the economy is employment. The government has started employing teachers in our secondary school, in our primary school. Everybody is happy because we have a large population of youth that are yearning to be employed, gainfully employed. And that is what we are doing. And that is what the people are yearning to participate.
All right, Prof, before I let you go, is there any plan to transit from this being a civil servant state to reaching its economic potentials in terms of what it has, the blue economy, for instance, B2 men, all kinds of, discussions we've had in those sectors, as well as its huge forests and all that. Are there plans on ground by your party to move from this, all the time talking about a civil servant state to a state that can, reach its potentials economically?
Certainly. Well, if you have been following the trajectory of what Mr. Governor is doing, in the last 2-3 weeks, he has gone to develop the riverine area. He has provided a ferry area to a large space so that we can have companies and industries coming into place. And we should not forget that Ondo State Port is coming on board and they are pursuing it seriously. A lot of industries today are in the pipeline of being started. And these are areas that the government today is working on. And don't forget, Mr. Governor, Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, before he died, started this cash crop where we have this what we call red gold, where we have a lot of oil palm estate coming to it, because those are the areas that will improve the economy of Ondo State. And we should not forget that we have lean projects in Ore that has about 5 or 6 companies. So these are areas that we are working on. But I must tell you that the maturity period of those areas, of those investments, cannot be a quick fix. These are a long-term plan that APC has put in place, and people are going to enjoy it. We are having independent power projects. We are having improvement in our sport and other areas for employment. So I can tell you, it is all-round plans that the government and the party is having for those states.
Thank you very much, Prof. But this is the time we will exit your lecture theater. Thank you so much. Moving on now, political update. The two factions of Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Victor Okojumbo and Martin Amiewule, held their parallel sitting. This is coming on the heels of a recent judgment by the appeal court on the 27 lawmakers concerning their defection to the All Progressives Congress.
At the sitting of the Victor Okojumbo-led assembly, a commissioner nominee, Emmanuel Onengie Frank Fubara, was screened and confirmed by the House, and two bills passed second reading, which are the Rivers State Emergency Management Bill 2024 and the Rivers State Transport Reform Law 2024.
If there was a prompt and available emergency response management agency, issues that have to do with emergency would have been handled, especially the case of fire incidents and other health-related challenges.
Meanwhile, Martin Amiewule-led assembly, after months, sat. This is coming on the heels of the recent Court of Appeal judgment nullifying the expulsion of Amiewule and 24 others by the Rivers State High Court, citing Section 273 of the Constitution. At preliminary, factional leader Martin Amiewule called for the representation of the 2024 budget to the House.
The Constitution in Section 121 mandates the governor to present the appropriation bill to the House of Assembly. There is no window for the governor to spend taxpayers' money or any fund from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of Rivers State.
With the recent development, the crisis rocking the Rivers State House of Assembly seems to be far from over.
In the National Assembly, in response to calls for grassroots engagement, the House of Representatives says plans are underway to roll out citizens' town hall meetings across the 6 geopolitical zones. Speaker House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas said this at the closing ceremony of the Legislative Open Week organized by the Green Chamber.
For 3 days, the doors of Parliament have been open to citizens for frank conversations. The need for state police, local government autonomy, constitutional role for traditional rulers, as well as gender balance in governance and politics have been among crucial issues discussed. The House of Representatives used the open week to establish robust connection with citizens, who in turn commend the initiative.
What you are doing, considering the suffering people are going through, by looking for solution, by looking for ways of ameliorating most of these issues, I think is a right step in the right direction.
From the traditional desk, even without motion, we want to say Nigerians have passed vote of confidence on the Green Chamber.
We are a gas country, and today, by virtue of the passage of the PA and the continuous support of the National Assembly, we are getting this done on behalf of our country, and the country is benefiting from it. Our president is succeeding.
Our constitutional amendment process will also adopt a citizen-inclusive approach. The onus is now on citizens to actively engage their representatives.
The Legislative Open Week comes to a close, but lawmakers say they remain open to continuous dialogue and engagement with citizens towards building consensus on critical national issues.
That concludes political updates for today. We'll be back again on Friday. Between now and then, play your politics for the greater good and keep it locked on the Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's largest and finest, for views, previews, reviews, news, and interviews. Bye-bye now.